Hey guys, welcome to the M3D Life podcast. We discuss all the latest topics in golf. I'm Mike Dawson. I work as a digital content creator in the golf industry. For the last 2 years, I've been working with Live Golf and also kind of running my stuff on the side. I've got a little Instagram following, so you guys might have seen my stuff on Instagram. But today we are down at Burnham and Berrow golf course. If you don't know Burnham and Berrow, it's a link style golf course. It hosts the final stage of Open qualifying. It's actually where this year Justin Rose managed to qualify for the Open. And if you don't remember last year's Open, he ended up making a pretty good run at it. So it is a proper championship golf course. Justin Rose has actually been given honorary membership here. I've been lucky enough to come down here a few times and they've been really gracious in hosting me. And today we are actually, after this podcast is over, filming the first episode of a brand new series, Breaking Par with myself. I am a one handicap golfer, which you guys, some of you who aren't super familiar with the handicap process might think, well, you're one handicap golfer, you probably break par all the time. That's not true. I have never broken par through 18 holes. I've done it through 9 holes. I believe my best ever round of golf, I believe I've shot level par on 2 occasions. Some of you might be thinking, well, how do you get down to a one handicap golfer? Well, things like the standard scratch index tend to add shots onto courses when they play more difficult. And also you're only taking the average of your best 8 rounds through the year. So there's a little bit of debate over, I'm not going out and shooting 1 over par every single round, but this is a brand new series where we're going to play some of the best golf courses in the UK, Great Britain, Ireland, maybe Europe and the world to come. And we're basically going to try and break par, see if we can do it, see if we can shoot my best ever round over some of the best courses in the world. But let's dive back in because we've just finished Players' Championship week and there is a ton to talk about in the golf world right now. We had Rory Mcilroy have a playoff, 3-hole playoff with JJ Spawn. You could say this was a little bit of a David and Goliath battle in terms of Rory being this long hitter, this big name in the golf industry, JJ Spawn kind of being much smaller in stature and in his renown in the golf sort of professional space as well. He was a previous PGA Tour winner, had won a previous event, but not your household golf name in the golf industry. And it was a pretty exciting battle kind of up until the 2nd hole in the playoff. Look, I think Rory's a great golfer. He tends to have some very controversial things to say, but he is playing incredibly well this year. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but they're basically in the off season, they were filming Happy Gilmore 2. I believe it was in New York they were filming it. So a lot of the best golfers in the world, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy included, all went to New York to take part in the filming. I believe they were there for at least a few weeks. And during this time, Rory got set up in a studio where kind of a full swing type studio simulator area, but he turned the actual simulator off because he just wanted to focus on the mechanics of his golf swing, something that he had kind of been struggling with for a little while. He'd hired coaches like Pete Cowan, but not been with him for like a long period of time. And he always retained, his original coach from when he was a junior. So he's been working really, really hard on his game. I posted a video of him, which was taken by one of the Golf Digest guys, of him talking through his swing feels, hinging his wrists a little bit earlier, setting his arms earlier, trying to keep that right elbow a little bit more in front of him on the way back. And so far in 2025, it looks like it's really, really been working. Already got a couple wins, playing really, really solid golf. And yeah, but he definitely had some controversial topics to talk about, especially in terms of YouTube and the digital creator space. And I think sometimes this is where Rory maybe shoots himself in the foot a little bit, because it does show, even though he's so in touch with the professional side of the game, it does show how he's not very in touch with the average golfer and the other side of the game. As we all know, the YouTube, podcast, social media space in golf has grown so much over the last 5 years. I've been working in it for the last 6 or 7 years now. I've experienced things when I first came on the scene working in this space, it was not taken seriously at all. The golf industry tends to be run by, an older demographic, and social media, probably on the whole, but particularly in golf, was not taken very well at all, not looked upon very seriously. But recently, we've seen things like the Creator Cup, which has hosted, obviously, Grant Horvat winning at the Players' Championship, which was absolutely unbelievable. I would love to see the numbers, but I think the Creator Cup, you could almost argue, got just as much attention as Rory winning the actual Players' Championship, which is just crazy. I absolutely love the concept of it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I really liked seeing Trent Ryan, you guys might know from the Foreplay podcast, him playing in it, because I think one of the criticisms of the first Creator Cup they did is you had people like the Bryan brothers playing in it, and you had these other guys who were all very good golfers. But the problem is, the Bryan brothers are professional golfers. I mean, Wesley Bryan and George Bryan have both played in PGA Tour events, and I believe it's Wesley who's won a PGA Tour event before. So they are proper tour level golfers. But you're not getting, average golfers. We see tour level golfers playing in the Players' Championship. We don't need to see them also competing in the, Creator Cup. So to see Trent Ryan going out there, who I believe he's about a 16 handicap, doesn't hit the ball particularly far, off the back tees at the Players' Championship was incredible. Like, just not being able to hit certain shots, not being able to hit certain carries, almost having to lay up short of the fairway just to manage his game and get across water and things was absolutely brilliant and epic. And I think he made an 11 on 17 where he hit about 5 balls into the water, which was absolutely incredible. You had everyone cheering his name. To me, that is like a standout golf moment of the year already, and we are so early into the year. So that was incredible. Also, they compared some of Trent's scores to the worst scores in the field. And I think that was also a really interesting thing to see, how even though Trent was making double, quadruple bogeys, whatever it was, to see how his scores actually were pretty comparable to the worst scores in the field. Even Ricky Fowler made a couple triple bogeys out there and basically tied Trent's score, and I think Trent may have even picked up a shot. So I think that was absolutely incredible. Also, Live Golf has just announced they have launched something called the Jewel, which is also going to be a creator-style golf tournament, but it's slightly different to the Creator Cup, where they're having one pro from the Live Tour and one creator playing together in it, and I've heard they've got some pretty big names playing in it. I have actually been working on the Live Tour with Live Golf for the last couple of years. Before this year, I went to every single event for the last 2 years. I think something like 24 events in a row. And Live Golf is in a really interesting spot right now, where they've got such a strong field. They've got, Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm, all these huge names. And for me, the biggest thing with Live Golf is when you're at the events, if you guys have been at an event, you may know this for yourself, but at the events, it's so good. The actual events are incredible. They have incredible music acts. The vibe they've created is so different to a PGA Tour event. They've got music playing the whole time. They've got other things. They've really catered to that young audience. I think, where it could improve is maybe the TV aspect of it, or how it's coming across. It would be good, and I don't know how they do this particularly, but obviously in terms of ratings, the PGA Tour seems to be getting a lot more viewers on TV coverage. Now, I think that will pick up for Live. They've just signed a huge deal with Fox Sports, so it's going to be featured on Fox all year. They've got deals in the UK now as well. I believe it's on ITV. So really, really big things happening, and it seems like big things are happening also behind the scenes. I don't know a huge amount about any of that side of things, but it does seem like the golf world is slowly going to be coming back together. There was even rumors before the Player Championship that they were going to allow live players to compete in it. Obviously, that didn't end up happening, which was a shame. Also, we've got to mention Tiger Woods. Now, Tiger Woods, it was rumored, and I believe these rumors, I do think they're true, that he was going to come back to golf before the Players' Championship. He was going to be competing in the Players' Championship. I do think that's true because he wasn't obviously able to compete. He was planning to play the Genesis earlier this year. Unfortunately, his mother passed away. He wasn't able to do that. But he was clearly ramping up, getting ready to play at Augusta in the Masters. So the Players' Championship, even though he's only won there twice, which for Tiger Woods isn't a huge amount, not had the greatest amount of success there, I do think it probably made sense that he was aiming to compete in it. But it was, announced shortly beforehand that he, I believe, tore or ruptured his Achilles, and I don't know how that happened, but it's going to be probably at least 6 months minimum before we get to see Tiger Woods out on a golf course again, which to me is a huge, huge loss for golf. One of the reasons I love watching the Masters every year is basically because you are guaranteed that Tiger Woods, if he can walk, he's going to be playing in it. And most of the time, somehow, even if he's not playing very well, he manages to make the cuts. That's 4 days you're getting to watch Tiger Woods, which is, in this day and age in the golf industry, a little bit of a rarity. So fingers crossed, he's come back from a hell of a lot of things. I actually got to watch him up close and personal for the first time in my life at the Open Championship. I was there with some of my players that I was working with from Live, some of the South African boys, so Charles Schwartzel, Louis Oosthuizen, Dean Burmester. And so I was there with them, and I actually managed to watch Tiger Woods on the range about 3 days in a row. I was absolutely blown away. If you watched any, I've luckily enough been around a lot of professional golfers, very up close, watch them, their ball striking, their touch around the greens, and most of the time, their ball striking is obviously unbelievable. Most of the time, there's not a huge disparity in that. Some of them are better ball strikers, some of them are longer hitters. Most of the time, the most impressive thing is watching them around the greens, watching their touch, their chipping, and their pitching, and their bunker play. To me, at least, maybe because that's the worst part of my game, but to me, at least, that's the most impressive thing, watching them do. But when I got to watch Tiger Woods play and hit balls up close in person, there was wind howling off the right. It was unbelievable to see how he controlled his golf ball, how he flighted it, how he hit different trajectories, even with the really strong winds. So that was absolutely unbelievable to see. It's something I will definitely always remember. There's only been a couple other golfers I've watched with that level of control. I also, at the same Open Championship in 2024, I got to watch Rory Mcilroy at the driving range once or twice. He also was unbelievably impressive to watch his ball striking. Again, flighting different shots, hitting different shots, different ball flights, different trajectories. It was incredible. It's kind of ironic in a way because, if you watched everyone at the range that day, you would have been like, Tiger and Rory are going to be right up there, and they missed the cut by an absolute mile at last year's Open Championship. Did not have the best weeks for either of them. So it does go to show that, ball striking isn't everything. It's not scoring. It's not out on the golf course, and how your game translates out on the golf course is different to the driving range, but they were also unbelievable. Also, we've got to talk about one of the hottest names in the golf industry right now, and that is Lucas Oberg. Now, unbelievable talent. The guy rips the ball, drives it a mile. I was also luckily enough got to kind of see him from a little bit of a distance, not maybe about 20, 30 yards away, but the sound coming off of his shots were absolutely incredible. Again, I'm luckily enough, I've been around tour pros, but this was different. Like hitting him rip drivers and seeing that ball flight was actually pretty crazy. I do think this guy is going to be a huge superstar in the game. I think he will win multiple major championships, win many, many tour events. When he first came out onto the field, for me, I'd never really heard about him until he got picked for the Ryder Cup. And I didn't think it was kind of fair at the time. I thought there was other players who maybe should have been picked over him. Adrian Meronk is one of them. He had, qualified for or won the Italian Open at the same venue as one of the players of the year on the European Tour, DP World Tour. So I thought it was a bit unfair that he was overlooked at the time, but you've got to see why Åberg was picked. I mean, absolute superstar. He played incredibly well, has continued to play incredibly well. Also seems like a pretty nice, well-rounded guy. Comes across really well behind the scenes on full swing. Looks like a really cool customer, but has kind of stated that he's actually not. He actually gets a little bit anxious and a very quick player. When he plays quickly or when he is more anxious, he actually tends to play quicker, which is probably different to most tour players out there. So I thought that was really, really interesting. Very cool on the outside, but yeah, an incredible, incredible talent to watch.
What do you think Rory's major chances are this year?
Yeah, I think, you know what, I was thinking about this the other day, because I think in some ways, winning the Players' Championship makes me think it adds so much pressure going into Augusta. Like, Rory already has the most amount of pressure of any player in the field every single year going into Augusta. So no matter how he's playing, and it will be the hardest golf tournament for him to win, just purely from a pressure standpoint because of what's happened with his history kind of falling apart on the back nine with such a big lead, etc. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, like, those levels are just going to be ramped up so much higher because he's just won, he's playing really well, all eyes are going to be on him, people are going to be betting on him, people are going to be asking so many questions, grilling him, how do you feel this week, playing well, are you thinking about winning, all these things. It'll be really interesting to see how he handles that. I think that's so much pressure, so much scrutiny for anyone that I think if he does really well, it'll be really impressive. I think I like his chances for a major this year. I really do. I mean, any year he's got a good chance for a major. He's such a talented player. I just think he just needs to kind of stay calm. I just think he kind of needs, like, you can't win it Thursday, Friday. If he stays, just makes the cut, then kind of he doesn't need to lead from the get-go. I think he just needs to stay in the mix. And, like, was it a few years ago when he was kind of way back and then he came back and finished second and hold that bunker shot on 18? So I think if he can just stay in the mix, he'll get going as the week goes on. He'll make plenty of birdies. He's such a long hitter that, like, for a lot of the par fives, they're almost par fours for him, or, long par fours. But, he's such a long hitter. Yeah, I just think it'll be tough. It's a really interesting one because Scotty Scheffler is kind of not playing his best golf right now, but not playing his best golf is still finishing top 20 every week, basically, or if not top 10. So it does feel a little bit open this year. Rory's definitely going to be a favorite. Who else is playing well? Jordan Spieth's kind of starting to play better. He always plays well at Augusta.
JT's been back a bit.
Yeah, JT's been back. He's kind of been, I believe he had something like a 16-shot difference at the Players' Championship between round 1 and 2, potentially. I think he shot like a equal course record of like 62 or something, then shot like 76 or something, or one of the others, one of the ways around. But yeah, so he's playing well. I think Åberg has a really good chance, played well last year, was in the mix, kind of fell apart a little. He was tied for the lead, hit that shot into the water on, was it the 11th hole? So it is really interesting. It will be a really interesting tournament. I'm doing a series at the moment on my Instagram where I'm like counting down the days to Augusta. So doing like, I started at 30, 29, 28, etc. till we get down to 1 day to go. So I'm trying to come up with these creative ideas of how I can do various Masters countdowns. So if you want to see what I've done, go over to my Instagram and check that out. I'm super excited for Augusta. It's the best week of the year in terms of golf, in my opinion. I've never been to Augusta. I've never been to the Masters. I would absolutely love to go. I would absolutely die to go. It's something that is on my bucket list. I think it's something that's on every golfer's bucket list, and it's something that I've heard is only better in person. It's only more beautiful in person. We've all seen the food and drink prices are very reasonable there. So yeah, I'm super, super excited. But I think that's a few good topics to kind of cover in episode 1 of this week's podcast. I'd like to go into more of my stories from Liv and stuff, maybe in episode 2. So if you guys have enjoyed this episode, firstly, thank you for watching. Really, really appreciate it. It would help me massively if you could hit that subscribe button or leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to hear me talking about in the second episode, or leave me any questions about Liv Golf or anything going on in the golf industry right now. And thank you so much for watching.